It's the lie that whispers, you will never be whole again, not after what you did. But can I say, that is not the voice of truth. And what if I told you this? That the very thing that you are most ashamed of, that led you to believe that you are too far gone, is the very thing God is so eager to use. Stay with me. This may change the way you see your entire life. Get it in your head. We all make mistakes, okay? None of us get the privilege of living a mistake-free life. But a healthy response to that would be, okay, I'm going to pray. I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to do better next time. But let's face it, that's not everybody's reality. That's not what always happens. Some of us get really stuck in that kind of regret, and we feel like the bad decisions that we've made completely disqualify us, like we have gone way too far to come back. I've seen it in others, and I've lived in it myself. You mess up, and instead of learning from it, you spiral, and it seeps into your future. It's like eating an unhealthy meal and saying, well, forget it. I ruined everything. Let's just keep on skipping down this junk eating road. Except now, it's far more serious. Now, because of the shame that you carry, you are unknowingly sabotaging the most sacred parts of your life, your future, your faith, and even your sense of purpose. Now, if you hear nothing else in this video, I need you to hear this. And that's why I'm putting it toward the beginning so that you have a better chance of hearing this, because I believe it is so important. And that is recognizing God's voice and recognizing the enemy's voice. Okay, we all know that the enemy is a deceiver, right? He is known for that. And one of the sneakiest things that he freaking does is speak to you in first person. Now, what that essentially means is it sounds like the thoughts that you're hearing are actually coming from you. It sounds like you are talking to yourself, but that is exactly how sneaky and tricky he is. You may hear thoughts like, I'm a failure, I'll never be good enough, I can't have that, I'm not worthy of that because of what I've done, God's probably tired of me, and you might get triggered somehow, or you'll just replay those mistakes in your mind. You notice sometimes you'll just go to bed and all of a sudden this mistake pops up and you just ruminate on it for hours and you spiral and you just feel like crap. I want you to know that that is the enemy planting that in your mind. So you have to recognize it and toss it away. Recognize that that is not God's voice. And it's not even your voice. And I want you to know that that is just the enemy trying to trick you, trying to derail you. Don't allow it. Cast it out. Now, here's how you know when it's God. Okay. When God corrects you, it is wrapped in peace and love. Conviction brings clarity and direction. Shame will bring fear and confusion. It will throw you off. Sometimes it can throw off the rest of your day. It's really bad. God never yells, you're done. He gently says, come home. I'm not finished. And what also helped me is to understand the kind nature of God. We know that he's merciful. We know that he's kind. We know that he's generous. We know that he's the Prince of Peace. We know that he's our Savior. We know that he's our refuge. Does all of these shameful thoughts and, shaming you, does that sound like God? No, it's not. So you have to remember, yes, sometimes it's ourselves shaming ourselves, the environments we grew up in, but other times it really is the enemy trying to derail you. Don't allow it. This is something you have got to remember. When those thoughts pop up, be like, is this from God or is this from the enemy? If it's not wrapped in peace, if it's not gently leading you somewhere else, then you know that it's not the voice of God. And what do you need to do? You need to completely eliminate it. You need to tell it to leave. Shame does not grow you. It destroys you. It doesn't heal you. It isolates. Shame says this is who you are now because of what you've done. And worse, it starts to convince you that God agrees. But hear me now. Shame is not from God. Conviction may point something out, but it always points you toward freedom. Shame traps you in darkness, and that's exactly why the enemy thrives off of it. Okay, now here's the cool part of all of this. Remember in the beginning of the video, I said the very thing that you feel the most shame about is the thing that God is so eager to use. Remember that? Okay. It got me thinking. God is so many wonderful things, right? But he is a creator. He's not just a healer. He's not just a redeemer. He is many things, but he is a creator. It's not just what he does. It is who he is. From the very beginning, he's been creating light out of darkness, beauty from dust, order from chaos. This is what God excels at, okay? He doesn't panic when things fall apart. Remember, order out of chaos. He knows what to do. He builds something better. And because he's a creator, he is also creative. And not just slightly creative. He is infinitely creative. He has redemptive plans, ideas, and pathways that you have never imagined. And if only you knew the options he already had for your little mistakes, oh my gosh, it would make your head spin. You might see a dead end, but God sees dozens of possibilities and new beginnings. So my advice, don't underestimate him here. Don't put God in a box shaped by your fears and failures. He is so not limited by your past. And he is not overwhelmed or surprised or shocked by your brokenness. He is God. God. And there is and I want you to hear this. There is a truth that I want you to let sink in deep. He is not reluctant about restoring you, and he is not sitting there waiting to punish you. He is so eager to step in. Because he is almighty, nothing is beyond his reach. Because he is so loving, he wants to restore, not shame you. And because he's creative, he can do with your story things that would blow you away. You are not too far gone. Are you going to let him use it? It starts with this one step, lifting it up to him, saying, okay, Lord, do your thing. Do what you do best. Create something beautiful out of this. I leave it in your ever capable hands. Now, an essential part in moving forward is healing. God wants to collaborate in your healing process. And here's something beautiful that you need to know. God desires a partnership with you. He is not just waiting on the sidelines for you to fix your own mess while he watches. He wants to collaborate with you, working hand in hand. Your cooperation in this journey matters. Your openness to him moving in your life matters. If you allow him deeper access, if you invite him into the darkest, nastiest, most broken places, he will shine through you in ways that you could have never imagined. There are wonders waiting in your journey with him, wonders that are only born from surrender and trust. And I want to say that this is not a one-sided fix. This is a beautiful dance with God. God moves, you respond. He heals, you grow. He restores, you get to walk forward. Stronger, wiser, more alive. So I want to say this. Don't be afraid to step into that partnership. What a beautiful thing he offers to us, you know? Let him be the creator in your story, but let you be his willing collaborator. Be eager to that. Together, you can bring something absolutely breathtaking to life. And now that I've said that beautiful sentiment, I'm going to tell you the truth that you may or may not like to hear, okay? And that is It's not about you. Get your butt off the pedestal, because here's the truth. You need to stop acting like everything is about you, that this life is all about you, your feelings, your desires, your happiness, your comfort. With everything you do, good or bad, or when you look back at your mistakes, you need to ask, how can this serve my number one? How can this serve God? Okay. God, we know God needs to be in first place, okay? God deserves and needs to be in first place in your life. And this is one way he stays in this rightful position, is by asking, how can I use this to serve him? But your ego gets in the way and it tricks you into thinking that this life is about you, but it's not. Living in this world means living for him. And the sooner you get that in your head, the sooner you can start dying to yourself, letting go of control, and living out his plan. But here's the deal. You were created for his purpose and for his gain, not your own. It is not about your comfort, your happiness, your agenda. I'm sorry. You're just going to have to sacrifice that, and you're going to have to give him the reins and let God lead. And only then it will lead to real satisfaction. And I remember hearing the quote, if you want to make God laugh, just tell him your plans. And wow, that just couldn't be more true. Sure, there are decisions in your life that you can make. You can make some plans, but God really keeps you framed in so that you don't go too far off and ruin his purpose for you. But you can't do that anyway. You don't have that kind of strength. So he keeps you framed in and only lets you go so far until he completely shuts it off. And if he cuts it off, that means that it wasn't in his plan. And the reason why I say you may or may not like this, the reason why you may like this, the reason why you may not like this is because it sounds like you're giving up on your wants and your dreams and your control. And it's hard to sacrifice what feels good or what you think you deserve. But here's the flip side. Here's why you may like this. And it's because this truth also sets you free. When you live for God's purpose instead of your own, you're not constantly derailing yourself and scrambling to fix things. You can rest in knowing that you are exactly where you're supposed to be, even when it doesn't feel like it. And the pressure goes away because you're trying to live for him and not yourself anymore. You're not trying to be good enough on your own. You're living for him, and that changes the game. Bring your shame to light. Bring it to light. The enemy thrives in secrecy. As long as you keep it hidden, he has power over you. It's like blackmail. You know, when I was a little kid, if I did something bad, so funny thinking about it, my brother or sister would be like, okay, I'll keep it under wraps as long as you be my slave for like the next year. So I remember just, bending to their will and letting them manipulate me or whatever, just so that I could keep this secret under wraps, hidden from my parents. And I remember getting to this point where I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I don't care. Mom, I drank your wine and I filled it with water. Okay? I did that. And suddenly, those two little rats didn't have power over me anymore. So don't let the enemy have power over you. Go to your father. Confess it. Tell him what you did. Bring it to light. The moment you bring it to light by praying about it, talking about it, confessing it, that shame and that mistake suddenly begins to lose its grip. And you don't need to carry it alone. You don't need to pretend like it didn't happen. Healing begins with honesty, and God honors that. Okay, so at this point, you might be saying, all right, Yasmin, but how can God really use my mistakes? Let me give you a few practical examples. Say you struggled with addiction. Now you can walk in freedom and help others break chains. You went through an abortion or an unplanned pregnancy. Now God has given you compassion to walk other women through their pain. Maybe along the way you saved some moms the pain of abortion, and you spare the lives of some precious babies. Say you were abused. Now your healing brings deep empathy, strength, and insight toward other people who dealt with abuse. You lived in pride, lust, or selfishness. Now you can lead others into humility, purity, and wisdom. Maybe you were a hot mess, like me, but now your testimony tells others that God can work with anything and anybody. Nothing is ever wasted when it's surrendered, not even your darkest chapter. Well, I hope at this point I have shifted your perspective and changed your life in some way. And all of this is to say, go walk now. Just take that guilt off of you, release it. It's not helping you in any way. Don't sit in that regret. Don't sit in that guilt. Don't sit in that shame anymore. Bring it to light. Talk to the Father. You are not too far gone. In fact, you are exactly the kind of person that God is so eager to use, to heal, to restore, to repurpose. In God's hands, your past can become your platform, and your mess is now your message. I hope that this has spoken to you. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Just remember, you're not alone. Let's encourage each other. There is freedom in our stories. Before I go, let me ask you, what have you gone through that God might want to use? And what would happen if you stopped hiding and started the healing process? Again, I hope this has helped you. I'm praying for you and I'm cheering you on. Sending lots of love. Bye.